The narcissist is a demonic puppeteer who gets you to fight their enemies for them. Welcome everyone to this space at Narc Con with myself and Remy. Today I'd like to cover how a narcissist operates and how they control and manipulate and operate people in a different setting this time. This is about how they operate people or maneuver people or weaponize people or use people as tools and targets in order to achieve their agenda while remaining cloaked in the sidelines so that they're not going to be held accountable. And the person who does their bidding unwittingly will eventually self-destruct by being manipulated by this person if they don't have this information, in my opinion. So if you really want to get to grips and understand the narcissistic personality disorder in its most malignant state, let's get into two examples here of how they actually operate undercover in the background and get people to innocently do their bidding for them and attack their enemies for them, without them ever having to lift a finger other than manipulate, and I call it spiritually and demonically manipulate another human being, because that human being generally doesn't know that they're being used by a darker force. So I'm going to, in this podcast, use a public example as well. And some people, particularly in the past, people wouldn't have agreed with my analysis and opinion of this person as being a narcissist and operating the other person. And that's fine, even if you still don't agree with that. I'm just using public actions as an example so that you will be able to identify in everyday life how a narcissist uses this influence over people to get their needs met. So essentially, they have to buy in. So let's just say they're in a recruitment stage. And this happens in the intimate relationship, and these are the examples we're going to take. But you often find this in a workplace setting, in politics, in every kind of arena in life, where one person uses another person to get them to put themselves in the front line for the agenda of the controller, basically, the narcissist, for this particular purpose. So they have to do a buy-in. They have to recruit. They have to recruit a person who is going to be who's going to be amenable to being conned by their own good nature. The narcissist is going to manipulate that person's good nature in the love bomb to essentially ask for help or get that person to believe in the narcissist, to believe that they're a really good person and that they have that person's best interests at heart. So in other words, it's the buy-in. It's the narcissist is trying to get somebody to recruit who's going to be so loyal to them that the narcissist will become their priority. So generally, the best case scenario in this is the narcissist's intimate partner. So they do this, of course, as we know, through the love bomb stage, where a person is totally hooked on the pleasure, on the validation, and on the attention that they may never have had in their lives before, that the narcissist concentrates on them. So that's the first stage of the buy-in. The second stage of the buy-in is the devaluation, the fear factor, the push and pull. You could lose this, but if you try harder, you won't lose it. That stage is very important. The person has to go through the devaluation process where fear becomes part of the dynamic, so that person is going to strive to overcome for the narcissist, is going to strive to be the best for the narcissist, is going to do out of love for the narcissist. They think what they're doing is out of love because they still think at this stage that the narcissist who has them hoodwinked, they think that there is love going on between themselves and the narcissist. And they think that the narcissist is a great person at this stage still. So once the narcissist has their person in place, once they have that person manipulated into a weapon that they can use, they go ahead and do so. And that's the real hoodwinking, where the target of the narcissist doesn't realize they're being used, generally until they're dropped eventually, and they look back on the relationship and say, oh my God, they totally had me conned into believing the exact opposite of the truth. So just in the love bomb stage, going back to that, they will profile the person into believing or needing the person to become their hero, their savior, their number one. And they will make sure that their intimate partner, the narcissist intimate partner, is under no illusion that that's what they expect from them. And the validation comes flowing to the partner in, you are my best, you're my hero, you're the one that always looks after me, you're the one that I can rely on to do things. And that validation is incredible. And particularly with guys, watch out for this. Female narcissists will often big up your hero, the hero in you, and the savior, but the savior can work both ways. So they'll build into you being that person for them. So we'll just park that there. That's an important part of them being able to weaponize you to go against the narcissist's enemies and to fight their battles for them while they remain totally hidden and cloaked. They send you out onto the battlefield and they get you unwittingly to attack and annihilate their enemies. So I'm going to cover two parts to this. One is when the narcissist gets the new supply to attack the old supply, because this is a little example of the bigger picture that we're going to cover using two public figures and how that has played out recently. And of course, leave in the comments whether you agree or disagree. You don't have to agree with my analysis of who the narcissist is, but it's an interesting dynamic that a narcissist will use in general when they have a cause that they want or they want punished. They will use their intimate partner or whoever they've recruited to do their dirty work for them. So the first scenario that everybody may be more familiar with is when the narcissist goes into a new relationship very quickly after the old relationship and has demonized basically their old supply by projecting everything that the narcissist is onto them, and the narcissist presents as the victim, comes along to the new supply, the new person, the new relationship, tells them tales of woe about how this crazy daisy in the background in their last relationship used to put them down, attack them, is now trying to get money off the narcissist that they're not entitled to. And of course, it's a debt the narcissist has accumulated over years, and that person is very entitled to the money, but the way the narcissist presents it is that this is a vicious, greedy, horrible person who's after them and keeps coming after them. And the old supply may well be contacting the narcissist looking for closure, having no idea what the heck is going on and thinking that they had a loving relationship. And of course, the new supply buys into the crazy, person who keeps contacting their poor new partner who has been devastated by their last relationship and the last bad experience. And I know you get the picture, guys. So the new person phones up or texts the narcissist's ex-partner saying, leave, my guy or my gal alone. You're a terrible person. And then even stands up in court for the narcissist in custody battles and things. And you know the picture. So that's one way the narcissist will weaponize a person to use them to persecute their last partner and to maybe gain traction in a divorce case or in a child custody case or even in a business case where money's involved. The narcissist stays well in the background, twiddling their fingers, playing computer games, whatever they need to do. They've wound the new supply up like a little toy mouse and set them off to do their bidding and to attack their older partner, who, their older source of supply, who is devastated, who's done nothing to deserve the cruelty of the discard that the narcissist would have given them. So that's it in simple terms, guys. I'm sure you've probably come across that scenario a good few times before. Now we're going to get into what I call the most disgusting, evil way of controlling an individual against themselves and against their family in a most despicable way, under the cloak of convincing that person is doing something right and good and just and is looking for justice. That is how deluded the person who's fighting the cause for the narcissist can get, because the narcissist gets into their head and totally misrepresents a situation. So let's get into it. Okay, so this analogy, if you'd like, or use of the public figures that is going to be used is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And just my opinion and just the way I see it. But this is very recent and very fresh. In my opinion, Meghan Markle has convinced, all of the time used arguments to convince Prince Harry that his family is bad. And now we all have some, I suppose, negative opinion of what our family might have done or didn't do, as well as a positive aspect, or some people can be loaded in the positive or loaded in the negative. But if a narcissist gets a sniff of any dissatisfaction you would have with a family, or a sense of injustice, or anything that they can use, they will manipulate it and use it against you, or use it to push you into taking an action that they want to take, but they don't want to put themselves forward or in the limelight or be held accountable for that action. So they'll again wind you up like a little clockwork mouse and set you off to do their bidding. I believe, and this is about the security issue in the UK, that where Prince Harry has just lost his case to have his security paid for in the vein or the way he used to when he was a working royal in the UK. And that, I believe, would translate into the rest of the world. I believe, so Meghan Markle has, I believe, sent Prince Harry off to be the hero of her and her family, saying she's scared stiff to go back or to take the children back to the UK without having top security. Now, the hypocrisy of this is that she's prepared to go to the most dangerous places and countries in the world with Prince Harry and without Prince Harry, without the level of security, by paying for their own security, without the level of security that they're asking for to be paid for in the UK. So she has convinced, in my opinion, Prince Harry that the UK is the most dangerous country in the world, and the reason that she won't go back there or take the children back there is because she feels unsafe. So she has sent Prince Harry off to fight a court case that he can't possibly win, to use him to denigrate his own family, as he's just done in a BBC interview where he set up that there was conspiracy theories against him not getting security, and actually he shouldn't have security to the level of a working royal because he's not a working royal, and that's why they left the country in the first place. However, you can see how the narcissist has gotten him to do that, playing into her agenda, that's the reason that she can't go back to the country. When the reason she doesn't want to go back to the country, in my opinion, is because she's extremely unpopular there, because of the way she has denigrated and put down the UK as being a nation of racists, etc., etc., etc. Now, Why would she do this, you might ask? She came into the royal family and could not get the control a narcissist would require over the institution that was the royal family. So she convinced Prince Harry to leave the royal family to live a life of privacy where they could be real individuals together and he could forget all about being royal, which is not the way it's turned out in their continuing to monetize the titles that they said didn't matter to them. And they've been the opposite of seeking privacy. They've sought promotion at every step of the way. So there's a huge amount of hypocrisy there. But what I'd like to point out is the fact that Prince Harry has gone off believing that he's the hero of his little family, and he's gone off fighting tooth and nail in a very public arena, spending a lot of money, saying that his family are really bad, don't care, that they should want to protect him, etc., etc. So what this has achieved for the narcissist is, one, she doesn't have to go to the UK or bring the children there because she doesn't want to, but she's convinced him that there's a reason that she doesn't go to the UK. And I don't know where his brain is at, but I do know when you're in and under the influence of a narcissist and you believe in them, you often will take something like that at face value and think that you're doing the right thing without looking at the bigger picture. So he's gone off, he's lost a lot of money in the court case. He's actually made a very bad job of the interview that he did in the BBC. He would have gone down further in popularity. So he's really attacked himself, basically. He's put himself out there to fight a battle that the narcissist wanted fought. And the narcissist has achieved his demotion, his bad PR, and she hasn't been affected in the slightest. She's also achieved revenge on the royal family for not allowing her to be in control in that institution and have more power and say in how things were done, etc., and for it to have been much more beneficial to her. He now is still in the clutches of thinking that the whole of the UK nation and the royal family and the government are totally against him and that it's unfair and that he should have taxpayers' protection when coming to that country because his wife has convinced him that he's entitled to that. She's also pressed on his older fears in relation to his mother, Princess Diana, when she wasn't, protected. She'd given up her protection, but she wasn't receiving the amount of protection he thought that she should have been entitled to at that stage. Totally missed the point that she'd actually stopped being a working royal and had let the protection go. So she has pressed on all his old fears and has asked him to be the hero to get his family protection. And he hasn't looked at the bigger picture and thinking, my goodness, I go to the most dangerous countries in the world and I don't need that level of protection. That he's so blindsided and tunnel visioned into he must achieve this for the narcissist because this has become vital to her. And she is literally sitting back on the couch, on the sofa, wherever she is, enjoying the SHIT show that's unfolding before her, making him more unpopular, attacking the institution of the royal family and the British government, attacking the British nation, and also when and if, and again, this is my opinion, they divorce, he will be in such a lesser position that I don't know if he'll ever be able to climb back up out of to become his own person again and to have the respect of anybody. Because she's actually, with her actions, attacked the royal family in revenge, attacked the British nation in revenge, and got him to self-destruct. All on a good kind of a good suggestion or ideal that he protect his family and be the hero for his family and make right all the wrongs of his past and anything that happened to his mother. All that emotional blackmail has gone on, and literally he's been wound up like a little toy mouse. And I'm not saying that he is a perfect person. He's actually doing really shitty things, excuse my language. He's really doing bad things in the name of a good thing. But it's not even a good thing. The whole agenda behind it is so that she can justifiably say to him, I'm afraid to go to the UK. It's so dangerous there for me and the children. And will you be my hero and go and make sure it's okay for us, knowing that he can't? So guys, that's just my little opinion on how a narcissist operates, and watching it play out in the public arena, I find it both as fascinating and vile in equal measure. Once we understand what we are dealing with, once we understand how our enemy manipulates us, we must use our discernment when someone says they need us to do something for them. We must look at it from all angles, and we must ask, why is such a big task being put on my shoulders for this person? And look at the background to it and look at the outcome that may result from it. Because in actual fact, at discard stage, you carrying out the narcissist bidding and agenda, particularly if it's going to hurt those that are closest to you, like your family, your friends, your community, your structure, is going to leave you isolated in the discard, and is going to leave you tortured when you discover the truth of who you were dealing with and the fact that you went into battle fighting on the wrong side. You went into battle as the narcissist puppeteer used you in an evil agenda to cause hurt to other people and eventually for you to self-combust. Imagine, just imagine the spiraling aggravation and sorrow and torture that you would feel in your head, seeing it all play out in retrospect, having done the narcissist bidding, when it was their total agenda to use you to cause other people damage and to destroy other people, and finally for you to self-combust because of the actions that they had incited within you. A demonic puppeteer is the only thing I can call the narcissist. Watch out for this. Till the next time, take great care of yourselves, and we will see you again very soon. Please look after yourselves in the meantime. Bye for now.